This episode of the Haunting You podcast is brought to you by VFX. Scare, entertain, and promote with VFX products. Learn more at vfxcreates.com.
Coming to you live from the Chamber of Haunters Studios, this is Haunting You. I am your host, Leslie Reed.
And I'm Keoni Hutton. Welcome, everyone, back to the Haunting You podcast, and happy April. How did you enjoy our April Fool's episode?
There wasn't one.
April Fools.
Sorry, guys. I was broken. Significantly broken.
We tried to get together to record a couple of times. Leslie got sick. John got sick. It just didn't quite happen. It was a little frustrating. We're sad that we weren't able to do a shenanigans episode because that is one of our absolutely favorite episodes to do. We may find an opportunity in the future. We'll see what happens.
We will do our best to make an opportunity in the future. But
we also have
on.
a packed lineup of episodes going into the summer. So whether we manage to squeeze one in or not, we shall see. But even though everybody was getting sick, we're healthy again. And so we are trucking forward. Keep your fingers crossed that we stay this way for a while. So I want to talk real quick about the great progress that I am making on our warehouse project, is what I'm going to call it. I think I talked about how I managed to get the shed, right? I talked about that on here.
Yes. Well, we talked about you. I know we talked about you looking at all the things as to where you were going to get things on the shed, but I don't remember if we discussed you actually going in what you got on here.
We did. We won the shed.
Yes.
And I swear I talked about picking up the shed and bringing it back.
You
don't think so? It has been like a month since we last recorded.
Yes.
Totally reasonable. But anyway, so the shed is back, but I can't actually install the shed yet because I have to finish this retaining wall that is on the back side of the concrete pad, right? Because if I don't do that first, the shed's going to be in the way and I won't be able to get all the materials I need to across the concrete pad and installed in place. And I'm cheap, right? I don't think this is news to anyone. I think all haunters excel at making the most of their money is how I'm going to phrase it.
Yes. We are very good at pinching pennies and then
suffering for it.
Suffering for it and then blowing obscene amounts of money on random shit that have our partners going, what the hell?
That is very accurate. So I drastically underestimated the amount of dirt that would have to get moved to install this wall, right? Drastically. I had thought about trying to get a little digger machine.
Yeah. You were actually looking at buying one.
I was looking at buying one. Yeah, there were a couple of options that could have worked out to get me one of these for about $2,000, right? But I lost out the bidding on both of them. Which was unfortunate, but I don't feel bad about not spending.
Also, not surprising.
Yeah, I do not feel bad about not spending $3,000 ever, right? So that did not work out. But Home Depot does rent them for like $500 for the day, or like $400 for the day, something like that, right? Which is not an unreasonable price for what it is. And if I were to rent one of these, I probably could do all the digging I need to do in a day.
Yeah.
And then just kind of move on with the rest of the project, right? And I don't know, listeners, how many of you have installed retaining walls, but it's a bit of a process. So
it's a very big process.
It's a very big process. You have to, for starters, I'm digging down 6 inch. Well, you
have to dig down below where you think you need to dig down and then dig down a little bit more.
You've got to get at least 6 inches down below the ground where you're at. Put 3 inches of rock on the bottom for leveling, and then I'm using 6x6s on top of that, and then drive 24-inch pieces of rebar through the wood into the ground. That's forming the foundation, right?
Yep.
And then I'm building this on a hill, so I'm having to tier my foundation up the hill because it's, a hill. And rather than level everything and then end up with, pieces of wood that are freaking, I guess it would end up being like 4 feet below the ground. That's silly. Instead, I'm just, digging 6 inches down for 4 feet and stepping it up the whole way across. But that would have been very difficult to do with the digging machine, not knowing where that tier would end up being. So I've ended up doing all of this by hand. And so far, I'm doing...
How's your back?
It always sore. I'm doing 3 sections of wall because it's, I'm trying to make a 90-degree corner, but cut off the corner at a 45, right? So I'm going to end up with 2 straights and then a diagonal to connect the 2. I have the diagonal in place. I have one of the straights in place. I have to do one more straight. So far I have done a 26-foot section and a 20-foot section. I have 16 feet to go. I feel pretty good about that, considering I'm digging this out all by hand with my spade. Like, it's so much dirt.
Yep.
But once I get the foundation in, I have to do even more digging so that I can get enough space behind, like inside the wall, to put down drainage. I have a 4-inch drainage pipe that's going to sit, run along a perforated drain pipe that will run the entire length of that with a drain out in the middle at the lowest point. And then a ton of pea gravel that is, has to go first underneath all of the foundation pieces and then also surrounding the drain pipe. So like, it's just a lot of steps. It's a lot. It is absolutely a lot. I tried to get a couple of quotes to have someone come and install this for me. Never got any quotes because everybody is booked out at least 3 months.
Yep.
Because this is the time of year when people are doing things like this. I should have thought about this, 3 months ago. I didn't. So to keep myself on schedule, I'm doing it all myself.
I'd offer you the assistance of my employer, except we're also
I don't think you
3 to 6 months.
That. And I also don't think you service Maryland.
Not as such, but you never know. You can always, send a couple of our guys out and see if they want to travel.
Yeah. You know what? Even one extra guy would be super helpful soon, very soon. Like right now, I don't think...
If you stack your children, it might qualify.
My children are, I'm going to say, a little helpful. My oldest is a little helpful. My youngest is not helpful at all. But like, my older son Luca is at least like the size of an adult, right? He's like 5.
That's so big.
He's like 5'2" now, weighs enough that I can actually have him like stand on this piece of wood so that it doesn't move while I hammer stuff in, right? He is an excellent ballast.
Yeah, he's about that size. Walker does not have that yet.
Walker does not have that. My younger is freaking 60 pounds still. Like, the kid is a twig.
He is a twig.
He might be 65 pounds.
He's my favorite twig.
He might be
my favorite twig.
But like, I'm like, go eat more. Go put some muscle on. But like, they are not that helpful is kind of my point. But at the same time, what I'm doing right now, I don't know that it would be useful to have a second person because I'm digging a channel and there's only so much space I can get in to dig this channel. When I'm really going to need help.
But you could have them on the other side and so you can meet in the middle.
We could dig opposite directions. That's fair. Where I really am going to need help though is when I start like actually stacking pieces of wood because I want to get long 6x6s in place. And do you have any idea what a 6x6 weighs? 12-foot long 6x6?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot maneuver that by myself.
There's a reason that we put a 18-inch one to offset Harley's hammer.
Indeed.
I don't think it was 18 inches.
It was definitely not 18 inches. I think it was more like 8.
8 to 12. It was
small.
8 to 10, yeah.
But yeah, super heavy. I can easily... I'm not going to say easily. I can pick up and maneuver an 8-foot section by myself. Much more than that, there's a lot of dragging happening.
Those are so dense. Railroad ties are so dense,
especially when they're wet. And of course, they're sitting outside, and it's raining occasionally, so they are getting wet. So yes, it's a whole thing. but we are making progress. Like I said, I'm done with 2 of the 3 foundations. I'm going to start on the last foundation hopefully tomorrow. Actually, probably not tomorrow because I think we have baseball practice tomorrow. So I'll start on hopefully get that last one done on this weekend, and then we can finally move on to building the warehouse.
By the way, send some of that rain this way.
I would love to send some of that rain your way because it is getting in my way.
Yeah. We just got hit with level 1 drought
restrictions. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
I'm not either, but I'm not happy about it because now we can't put sod in.
Yeah.
And my boss was going to help us with that. And now that's not happening.
Not happening. Yeah,
so
it's going to figure out something else, be a rough summer in the West.
Yeah, it's going to be nasty.
I will do what I can to send the rain your way.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Beyond that, what else is happening with our haunt? Actually, less with all the things. Well, I would say our haunt is actually kind of on hold, waiting for this. There's much planning. There is much looking for materials. I got to tell a story real quick because y'all know how much I love estate sales. And last weekend, a couple weeks ago, I had to go out to, the hardware store to pick up stuff for my retaining wall. Need the rebar, need, 10-inch nails for putting this whole thing together. So, and thankfully, my local hardware store has that. I don't have to drive all the way to Home Depot. So I'm driving back from the hardware store and I see a sign, estate sale. Ooh, pull over. Stop at the estate sale because I had to. And
I cannot tell listeners, I have to point this out, and I'm sure we've done it before, but I have to point it out again. I cannot tell you the number of times that I've been in the car with this man, and we've been driving along going somewhere, sometimes on a time schedule, and then all of a sudden it's, ooh, and all of a sudden he's turning in one direction, and I'm sitting here going, wait, what?
What just happened?
Like, it's one of those, you just end up planning that it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen.
If there is a sign that says estate sale or yard sale or free something or other, we will be there.
I am an opportunist. When the opportunity presents itself, I will take advantage.
And then some.
And this one was super convenient because it was, 10 minutes from the house, which absolutely I'm going to stop. It's on the way. So I stop in and it's mostly cleaned out by this time. It's clearly... They weren't quite in their last day, but they were within their last 24 hours. It was mostly cleaned out, some large pieces of furniture, that kind of stuff. But that's not what I'm interested in. Typically, I go down to the garage and I go down to the basement and I'm looking for tools and, crazy stuff that I can use for the haunt and that kind of thing. And this one just happened to have a shit ton of paint. I ended up getting doing quick math in my head. Half the back, more like a quarter of the back of my truck. A quarter of the back of my truck was covered in paint cans of an assortment of colors, all absolutely free. But more important than that, I got a contact. I got to give a shout out for the Mike Benton team of realtors here in Southern Maryland, because this is a husband-wife husband and wife realtor couple that realty team that sell houses, and every so often they'll do estate sales as part of the sales. Well, he was telling me how he always has to do things like pack paint with kitty litter because he can't dispose of it very easily. He's got to dry it out completely and blah blah blah. I was like, I build a haunted house. I never know what I'm going to need, and I'm always looking for free paint. If you have situations where you have building materials or paint or really bizarre stuff, call me. So I now have a contact here in Southern Maryland that is going to get us building materials, and Excellent. That is freaking awesome. So look for those opportunities. You never know when they may pop up, and talk to the people who are running these sales, because you never know. You never know how you might be able to help each other. Beyond the paint, though, there was this super cool twin bed frame, really old metal twin bed frame covered in cobwebs. The paint is all scratched up. It looks like it belongs in an asylum, and I got that for free too. So
I'm excited about that one.
It looks super cool. I'll put some pictures up on our Instagram. I'm very excited about that, and I'm excited to incorporate that into our haunt somewhat place this year as well.
Dollhouse.
The doll's room.
The doll
I think
room.
it's absolutely would be a good spot for it. So had a great time at that estate sale getting stuff for the haunt. But again, I need a place to put it. So I need to finish this freaking retaining wall so I can finish my freaking warehouse so that I have a place to put all the stuff. Oh,
Chop, chop.
chop, chop. That we have much work to do. And unfortunately, my April is looking like it's going to be kind of busy on the weekends. And I'm not going to get as much time to work as I would like to. Let's talk about that real quick, Les. Give the rundown of what's happening the weekend of the 18th.
So the weekend of April 18th is our 4th Lunch and Learn for the Chamber of Haunters. And once again, we will be moderating and hosting. What is our topic?
The topic is Monsters Behave, Managing Guest Chaos and Staff Slip-Ups Like a Pro.
Mm-hmm. Because the only thing that we can count on in our haunted houses is that nothing is going to go the way we planned it
to. Exactly. Absolutely.
And people be crazy.
And people be crazy. So if you need tips on how to manage your actors, on how to manage your guests, on teaching your actors how to manage the guests, definitely tune in to our next Lunch and Learn, 2 p.m. on Saturday, April 18th. Be there or be scared. So that's April 18th. Normally, we would be doing this on the 4th Saturday of the month, but we shifted this one to the 3rd Saturday because of the other thing that I am super excited about. And if you were to go to our website, hauntingyou.com, and click on the events tab, you would see East Coast Haunters Convention is happening April 25th and 26th in Oaks, Pennsylvania. I will be there. I will not have a booth, but I will be on the show floor doing interviews and meeting with people and doing recordings. So if you are coming out to East Coast Haunters Convention, look for me. I'll be in a black shirt that says Haunting You on it. It kind of stands.
It'll also be shoving microphones in people's faces.
I will also be shoving microphones in people's faces. That is accurate. And possibly I'll have one of my kids with me as well. I think Walker's going to have a baseball game that day. Luca may come with me, though.
Nice.
And he's kind of excited about it.
I wish I was going.
Well, you're not coming to that one, but we will see you at Texas Haunters Convention, July 18th and 19th in Irving, Texas. We will have a booth there. Definitely come see us. We will do a live show from the show floor. We'll be doing recordings all weekend. We'll be doing vendor spotlights all weekend. It will be a great time. Come see us at Texas. If you can't make it, though, and you're in the Midwest, there's always Midwest Haunters Convention, June 5th through the 7th at Rosemont, Illinois. It is always a good time. We need to make it up to Midwest one year.
Yes, we do.
And then Les, what's happening in August? Because there's a couple of conventions in August.
Let's see here. We should have Midsummer Scream.
We do have Midsummer Scream, August 7th to the 9th at the Long Beach Convention Center.
And we have Haunters Against Hate, the Gaypocalypse.
Yes, the 4 Horsemen of the Gaypocalypse. Haunters Against Hate, the event number 4, August 1st and 2nd in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So if you are near any of these conventions, definitely go check it out because they are sure to be a blast. And I cannot wait to meet as many of you as possible on the show floor at East Coast. So, Breck, you better be there because I missed you last year. All right. I think that's all the stuff we want to talk about ahead of time. But we actually have a topic to talk about today.
Yes, we do. It's going to be super entertaining. I'm going to talk to you and show you how to write and build a business plan and develop a business plan.
The truly scary part of haunting. We're talking about the business side today. And I have to talk up front. This is not my forte. This is the part of the haunted house that I do not have a knowledge in. So this is going to be a very Leslie heavy episode.
Sorry, guys. Prepare in advance. I will try and make this as entertaining as possible. I also recognize that this is the boring part. This is the scary part. This is the part that if you want to take this and go from home haunters and entertaining your neighbors to turning this into something larger, this is really going to
You need
be
this.
your best friend.
You're going to need this. And I think we are at a point where it's appropriate for us to start developing our business plan, because ideally we're just a couple of years away from potentially opening a haunt professionally. And so we want to start treating this like the business we want it to be. So congratulations, you get to come along on that journey with us.
I apologize in advance. I will try and make this as entertaining as possible. For those of you who are new, I do have qualifications in this area.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. Let's talk a little bit about what makes you qualified to talk about this topic. What do you do in your professional life?
In my professional life, I am a controller. So I do
what
finance.
Do you control?
I control monies. I control finance and accounting, and I also support business planning, business management, operations planning for a number of aspects of the and businesses that I've worked from. I've worked in oil and gas. I've worked in healthcare staffing. I'm currently working in outdoor landscape and outdoor building.
And you've worked for businesses of various sizes through all of this as well.
Yes, I have worked for, all of mine have been privately held companies, and they've ranged in size from 3 million up to 100 million in annual revenue.
Yeah.
So, in addition to all of that, I do have a master's in business administration.
That's an MBA for those of you who recognize the acronym,
letters,
not what it means.
Yeah.
I
have an MBA, and I've been doing this for 20 years.
I would say you started doing finance in high school. Yeah.
Yep. I started with business operations and support in high school. Quickly transitioned into basic accounting and bookkeeping, and my boss realized that I had an affinity for it and essentially just kept offering me things and training me on things and giving me more opportunities to take on more experiences. So I do everything from our budgeting. I've done payroll, I've done HR, I've done, you name it, I've done it. Pretty much.
Yeah.
For anything related to privately held companies, I've done it.
Which is very important, since John and I have not. Les is our guiding light.
Yes.
So, Les, what is a business plan?
So, a business plan is really where you sit down and you plan out what you're doing, how you're going to do it, what you need, and you evaluate things like competition, you evaluate things like market share, what you it's really taking all of the stuff that we talk about and writing it down, and then putting it in a format that you can then take into a bank, you can take into a lender, you can take into any, if you want to partner with a nonprofit or a school or another organization, having all of this written out in a defined format is going to give you a lot of credibility, and it's going to give you a lot of confidence when you go in to talk about these things and to talk about your plan. So in a lot of ways, we've kind of already written our business plan just over the course of these, 100 plus episodes, because of all the things we talk about. This is where you take all of that and you put it in a particular format. And the formatting is part of the power of a business plan, because it structures it in a way that all of the people that you'd be talking to know what they're looking for, know what they're going to find, and you know what you need to have to present it.
Yeah. The Small Business Administration describes it like this: a good business plan guides you through each stage of starting and managing your business. You'll use your business plan as a roadmap for how to structure, run, and grow your new business. Business plans can help you get funding or bring on new business partners. Investors want to feel confident they'll see a return on their investment. Your business plan is the tool you'll use to convince people that working with you or investing in your company is a smart choice. And if you want to find a good format for your business plan, check out SBA.gov. That's the Small Business Administration's website, and they have a ton of resources for helping people start, manage, and grow their small businesses. We will be using some of that today.
Yes, we will. There are as many as many websites and resources available to help you write a business plan and understand it as there are podcasts in the verse. Um, with that said, again, we're coming at this from a haunter's perspective and focusing on what is needed for a haunt rather than, a startup for a tech or other types of things. So again, part of a business plan is also identifying what type of business and what industry you're targeting. Again, we're not trying to create an app. We're not trying to create, we're trying to create an attraction. So we're going to be looking at the attraction industry and using those specifics as our model. A lot of it really is a plan helps you achieve your short-term objectives by defining them. And it also helps you support for long-term viability.
So if you want to find a templates for your business plan, definitely check out the show notes. I'll have links to the SBA website as well as the templates that they have on that website. They'll be linked right here. So you can follow along if you want to, if you want to pull up one of these and follow along while we're talking about it, you can do so.
Yeah. And there's consulting companies out there that will help you build all of this and will support and do all of those things. They also charge an arm and a leg and are variable in how much help they can provide. I've worked with a number of them over my career. And again, it's useful, it's helpful, but there's also a lot of things that can be done simply by knowing what resources you have available.
Now, Les, this is not a legal document, right? There's nothing here that is involved with like establishing an LLC or incorporating a business. This does not do any of that, right?
This does not do any of that. You can, and again, as part of your planning, you're going to want to define what items of those you need to do. Starting an LLC, incorporating your business, opening a bank account, this is where you are going to want to write out those steps and those to-dos. Now, whether or not they make it into the final quote-unquote business plan, that is just dependent on what you're trying to do and what your goals are. But this is, again, where it's literally creating and building yourself a physical roadmap for what you want to do, how you want to do it, and where you want to be in 5 years. So you're looking at short-term goals, you're looking at long-term goals, you're looking at those for personal, you're looking at those for company growth. It's all in there. And the other thing too, before, everybody starts to panic and say this seems like too much, a business plan can be as large or small of a document as you feel you need to target the goals that you have. If your business plan is to sell your spouse on turning your yard haunt into a mini walkthrough in your garage, that's not necessarily going to need to be a 60-page document outlining market share and, your advertising options. That's going to be, hi wife, hi husband, here's how I'd like to do this and here's what it's going to take. So again, as much as your business plan is for you, it is also for your audience and you can adjust it accordingly.
Yeah. So let's talk about the sections that go into your business plan. And I think at the very front, the moment you open the cover, what are you going to see first?
So one of the first things that you're going to see is going to be and again, we'll kind of run through this really, really quickly. So one of the first things that you're going to see is you're going to see an executive summary.
What is an executive summary?
So an executive summary is quite literally what it sounds like. Here's what we're doing.
It's a summary for executives. What are we talking about? We want something short, concise, gets to the point, tells them it's the bluff, the bottom line up front.
It's your elevator pitch.
It's your elevator pitch. Briefly tell your reader what your company is and why it will be successful. Include your mission statement, your product or service, and basic information about the company's leadership team, employees, and location. You should also include financial information, high-level growth plans if you plan to ask for financing, but it should not exceed more than a page or two.
Yeah.
Very high level.
Very high level. This can be, and again, this can be your start. You can turn in a business plan to your spouse that it's just the executive summary. Like, that is still a business plan. However, if you're wanting to look at funding, if you're wanting to try and convince a nonprofit or a school to partner with you, you're going to want to go into more detail. So other things that you're going to want to have, you're going to want to have a company description. So again, you can put a lot of this into your executive summary, or you can break it out. So that's going to be your legal name and type of business, mission statement objectives, location, trademarks and copyrights. This is where kind of those legal things of what do you need to set your company up as or your business up as can be put in here as a defining factor. So it's not necessarily like you're putting the documentation of what you've done in, you're simply putting the defining factor of how you are building your business. If you're really looking to scale and you're looking for something larger, you're going to want to look at something in the industry analysis and trends. So size and growth.
Wait,
market.
before we get there, under the company description, don't forget to put your principal members. Who is in charge of your business? What experts do you have working for you that lend credibility for those investors who may be concerned about trying to give money to this person who you want to open a haunted house?
Yeah.
What makes you think you can do such a thing?
And you want $20,000 to open a haunted house? How can I trust that you're not using that to pay off gambling debts? This is where saying, hey, we have this person who has an MBA and has worked in finance for 20 years. They are our treasurer. Okay, we trust this a little bit more. It's all about presentation and how you present and define and build. So, again, we're talking industry analysis and trends. There's a lot of things in here. One of the big things I would say is going to be crucial for a haunt is going to be talking about seasonal factors.
Yeah.
This is an industry that is defined by its seasonality. Hands down.
SBA describes this section as you need a good understanding of your industry outlook and your target market. Competitive research will show what other businesses are doing and what their strengths are. In your market research, look for trends and themes, like seasonality. What do successful competitors do? Why does it work? Can you do it better?
Yeah, so again, this section is about showing who you're talking to, that you are familiar with and understand the industry that you're trying to operate in.
You understand your market, you understand your customer base.
Yeah, it's not like going and saying, I want to start building pools in Alaska.
Even things like, this is how much haunted houses charge in this area. This is based on their size. Based on the size that I anticipate, here's what I think I could sell for.
Yep. So again, you're going to look at that. So target market and competition can all fall into this section, or they can be broken out separately. You're going to want to look at strategic positioning and risk assessment. Is this something that you are going to have high competition in what you're building? Or in the case of the haunted attraction industry, there's competition, but it's not competition in the sense of such a highly limited market share that, like a restaurant, opening a restaurant, you've got high competition, you've got high chances for failure within 12 to 18 months, and you're always fighting for the same basic customer base. With haunts, somebody is not just going to decide, this is my haunt, this is the only haunt that I'm going to go to, the way they would their coffee shop. They're going to look at it like, I want to see this haunt, I want to see this haunt, I want to see this haunt, I want to see this haunt. So it's a different risk assessment, and it's a different strategic position for the market that you're walking into.
And understanding how saturated is your market? How many haunts are there in your immediate area? How far do people have to drive? How far will they have to drive to get to you? We heard that with Breck. They were, 30 minutes away from their customer base in an area where very few people have cars. Makes it a little bit more difficult to get the customers to the location. So this is your opportunity to think through those types of issues.
Again, it's like with ours, out of the way neighborhood, cul-de-sac. We have a lot of different things that we have to evaluate with what we're trying to do So we need to have those conversations and then have a plan as to how we're going to manage those. So again, as you're listening to this, and for those of you who've listened to a number of our episodes, these are things that we've talked about at length. A business plan is simply taking those conversations and putting them together and putting them down on paper.
Yep.
You can walk in and anybody can walk in and talk a good game. Writing it down takes it and says, yeah, you talk about it. Great. Everybody has an idea for the app that's going to change the world. You've actually thought about it, reasoned it out, wrote it down, and you have a game plan.
Yeah. Some other risks to think about. What about your employees? Is there do you have a good actor base? Do you have support base? Do you have, let's look at the logistics of running the haunt, parking, electricity, restrooms, all things that are all risks that you should be evaluating.
Restrooms for your employees or restrooms for your guests. How
Well,
long
yeah,
are you
both.
expecting your guests to be on site? Is it
Yeah.
going to be, hey, they're going to come through, they're going to park, they're going to walk through, it's going to take 10 minutes, they're going to get in their cars and they're going to go. Okay, if you're having a pass through and a throughput that's that length, and they're only on site for, 20 minutes, you probably don't need to have a bathroom on site. However, if you're doing something like a haunted trail where they have to get there, it's going to be a longer process. You might need to look at making sure that you have some porta potties on site. So,
Or like you have concessions or a midway, other entertainment that is going to that will encourage guests to stay on property. Now you need to be taking care of them a little bit more thoroughly.
yeah. So again, as you're talking about things, it's like if you want to start with, we're going to have a midway. This is something that you have to consider. Well, now people are going to be here for 30 minutes, an hour. They're going to be buying sodas. They're going to be buying waters. They're going to be buying snacks. Well, that has to go somewhere. So account for it accordingly.
Yep.
So again, it's all about trying to
evaluate all of the aspects of your business, thinking through all of those aspects,
all of those contingencies, all of those risks, all of those chances, all of those needs. And as you make those changes, what else changes? So if you decide to put in a midway, what now do you need? If you decide to take out the midway, what do you need to not have on site? And then knowing how much that's going to cost you in terms of personnel management, finances, etc. Again, I recognize that for people who do not do this as part of their daily life, this is intimidating, tedious, boring as fuck, and not the fun part of all the stuff that we do. But it is going to give you a lot of confidence in what you're doing and in how you're doing it. So even if it's a case that you have this, you don't need to go out and look for extra help. This is still a good exercise for you to work through potential risks and problems.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The next section, describing your service or your product line. What do you sell? What service do you offer? Explain how it benefits your customers and what the product lifecycle looks like. What does that mean for a haunt?
Well, we don't necessarily have a product.
Sure, we do. Our
Well,
product is our show.
Our product is our show. But we're not talking about, hey, what's the product lifestyle? How long is an iPhone going to last? My bosses have been making fun of me for the entire week.
Because your phone is old?
Yes.
Yeah.
They've been making fun of me a lot. It's not that old, but I mean, I guess it kind of is.
Kind of is.
I only have one camera thingy. Anywho, all of that aside, sorry, ADD. We're not talking about like what's the lifespan of an iPhone. Okay, an iPhone, yeah, okay, 2 years, and then everybody's going to get the new one, and that's what it is. We're talking about an event. We're talking about an experience. What is the life cycle of that experience? Is this something that we're hoping, everybody's going to be a one and done? They'll come once, they'll enjoy it, they'll move on. Or is this something that we're hoping that people will want to come back and keep going through because we're giving them something extra, we're giving them something fun? So it's about what are you doing? What are you offering? How do you want your audience to engage with? And what do you want them to come away from your event having experienced? Alrighty. So again, to give everybody a bit of a brain break, because I am very aware of how tedious this all can be, we're going to take a minute and we're going to listen to a word from our sponsors.
Welcome back, everyone. Then thank you to all of our sponsors. Please keep in mind, if you have word that you want to get out to the haunted attraction industry, please reach out to us and we can show you all of the different ways that we can help you get your message out to our listeners. The advantage of advertising with the Haunting You podcast, every person who listens to us is a Halloween fanatic. It is exactly the kind of person that you want to get your Halloween related products in front of. So we are a great way to do that. And I guarantee you will not find cheaper advertising anywhere in the industry than right here on the Haunting You podcast. So reach out to us if you have word you want to get out, and we can show you all the ways that we can help you do that.
Additionally, we do not require a business plan to be a sponsor.
Indeed, we do not. So far, we've talked about the executive summary. We've talked about company description, market analysis, and risk. What's the next section?
So next section would be marketing plan and sales strategy. See, this is where we need John.
I love how we're at the same thought.
He is our marketing and sales guru.
Yeah. So how are you going to get the word out to your customer base? You need a good understanding of your industry outlook and that target market. We spent a whole episode talking about who our target audience is. This is where you figure out how are you going to reach them.
Yeah. So this is where defining social media. Okay. Are we focused on Facebook? Or are we focused on Instagram, TikTok? Are we focused on spending money on flyers that we're passing out around the neighborhood and sticking in people's doors? Or are we looking at reaching out to the schools and seeing what they can do in terms of, advertising and posting flyers on bulletin boards, etc.? All of that is going to be part of your marketing plan and sales strategy. It can include your company's message, marketing vehicles, strategic partnerships, other marketing tactics, and then sales assumptions. So with sales assumptions, again, you're kind of starting to get into that finance capacity. This is how much we're charging. This is how many people that we need to come through our haunt at this price to make our costs at least net zero, preferably net positive, but
ideally net positive.
This is where you kind of start with that. So once you've got,
I would say, and take a look at what other haunts are doing. Where are you seeing advertising for the haunts in your area? Are they using billboards? Are they using radio? Are they using TV? How effective is it? Talk to, go to haunts, talk to people. Hey, how'd you hear about it? How did I? And you can learn a ton from seeing what the customers are doing at other haunts.
Yep. So again, all of these things tie together and they can be merged or separated depending on how detailed and specific you want to have your business plan. Once you've done all of that, now we're going to start getting into the operations. That is the next big section. What do your operations look like? Facilities, equipment and technology, labor needs, inventory, supply. A lot of this is research and development. What are you looking at? What are you trying to do? Safety, health, and environmental concerns.
OSHA.
Tripping. Fire marshal. City ordinances. What do you need to have to run your business?
Do you need special licenses or like event permits from the city or county?
Or the neighborhood? Do you need to call your stupid HOA and get approval and tell them this is what I'm doing? Piss off. Not that I'm bitter.
Give them a bottle of whiskey. Bottle of whiskey goes a long way.
Management information systems. This is something that, again, as you're looking to grow, what systems and programs are you looking at utilizing to help you manage the business that you're building?
And I have to give a shout out here real quick to Scython, who is a financial supporter of the Haunting You podcast. If you use the code HauntingYou20, you can get 20% off the annual subscription of their Haunt Actor management software. So Sithon, Leslie, put the knife down. Scython.io if you want to check them out. You can also find them on our partners page on the website. Leslie, put the knife down.
Fun. I found it. Okay. Sorry. This is also where you can start talking about other operational concerns. So, maybe this is where you have a list of things that you haven't quite solved yet. You know that there's a potential problem, you know that there's a potential risk, but you don't have a solution yet. Write it down. Because at the very least, anybody you're talking to can see that you're thinking things through and can help you find resolutions to problems that you are anticipating.
And you never know, you may hand this business plan to a potential partner and they'd be like, hey, I can help with that.
And that
I know
happens
a
a
guy.
lot. I know a guy. Oh, hey, I've got the perfect program that does absolutely what you're trying to do to manage your ticket ordering. Cool. What are my options? So even if you don't have an answer, even if you don't have a solution, just writing down your problem and your issue and your concerns is going to give you access to support and is going to give you a lot more control and confidence again than saying, oh, no, I got it. We're good. I don't have any questions. I figured it all out because let's face it, none of us have anything all figured out. Like,
accurate.
We don't. And that's not how it works. That's not how reality works. We're always going to run into something that I haven't done this. This is new. And announcing and sharing of I haven't done this. This is new. I don't have an answer is going to give people an opportunity to help you. And it's going to give you an opportunity for growth. And it's going to show that you're not afraid to say, I don't know. And you're not afraid to say, I think this is a problem, but I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
So operations, that's most likely going to be kind of your largest section. Next up, technology plan. This again kind of dovetails in with some of the management information systems, but in the universe of tech, what are your hardware needs? What are your software needs? This is where you're looking at, hey, we're going to do audio. We need to have an audio program. Is this just a matter of hooking up something to Bluetooth? Or is this a matter of we need something more specific because we're going to do sound design? Technology plan is where you're going to start identifying all of those different pieces and identifying softwares and systems that you need to have or that you think you're going to need to help manage what you're doing, whether it's actor management, ticket management, sound management, props, you name it. If it's technology related, you're going to want to put it in here. And
you
it's
may
also
not need to know what the solution is when you're writing this. Identify what your needs are, and then as you continue building your business, fill it in as you figured it out.
Yeah. And a business plan as well. It's always a good idea to go back through and review your business plan annually. Pick a time, beginning of build season, what have you, sit down with your business plan, go through it, mark changes, make updates. If you've solved a problem that was in there, write it down. If you found a new problem, write it down. This should not be a stagnant document. This should be a living document. And good businesses are always reviewing this. That's actually one of my work projects right now is I'm going back through my company's business plan that was built for them by a consulting group. And it is a massive, massive document.
You can't see it, people, but she's holding up her fingers like a 2-inch binder.
Yeah, it's 2-3 inches of paper with so much information. But I'm doing this so I know, hey, this is where my bosses wanted to be, and this is their goals. What has changed? Where are we going now? So this really should be a living document, not something you write and then throw in a drawer and, toss on the fire to make s'mores.
Right.
Okay, so once you've done technology, next up, management and organization. So management and organization. Who are your principal and key employees? Again, we've done some of this already. This is where you're going to fill out a little bit more detail. Your board of directors, consultants that you're using. Hey, we want to be able to use Leonard Pickle to help us with our design because he is one of the best in the business and he has pioneered so much of the haunt industry. This is somebody that we have spoken to about this. He is consulting. Okay. This again shows that you're looking beyond a narrow scope and you're looking to see how can I build support and get solutions before I run into the problems. Management to be added. Hey, you don't necessarily need to start with everything, but what are you going to want to add 3 years down the road?
And I think about like what Breck was talking about. It started with just Breck and Eli, and then they brought in additional members of their team, basically department heads. They had a makeup lead, they had a actor lead, they had a building lead. All of these people, you should be identifying all these people, or at the very least the roles that you're going to want to fill as you continue building your business.
Yeah. Organizational chart. Who answers to whom?
Yeah.
When a disagreement arises between your board of directors, between your leadership team, who has the final say?
Leslie.
Is this only if it's math? If it's engineering, it's you.
That's actually an interesting point.
Yeah, we're not allowing Leslie to make engineering decisions. That's just risky. That's the only person riskier than that would be, giving John
letting John make the engineering decisions or the math decisions.
Or the math decisions. Yeah. So your organizational chart, it doesn't have to be fancy, but it gives you that control. It gives you that level of, in circumstances where shit goes sideways, who has the final say? Who's the one that is the head? Who makes that final decision?
Where does the buck stop?
Where does the buck stop?
To quote Teddy Roosevelt. Or paraphrase Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, paraphrase. No. And again, what is your management style and corporate culture? How do you want your team members to view working with you? Are you trying to build something that is fully collaborative? Are you trying to build something that is a little bit more structured? What is it that you want your employees and your customers to take away from your haunt and from interacting and engaging with your employees? What is the culture? What is the style? How do you want to handle conflicts? All of this is where you can put this in under management and organization, and it'll give you that guideline of how you want to have your haunt feel for the people who are working there.
Right.
We're almost done through all of the different sections. This is really entertaining. I forgot how much fun this was. Okay. Community involvement and social responsibility would be another section that you can work with. And if you're looking to do a charity haunt or to partner with local organizations, this is definitely going to be something that you want to have as part of your section. So social responsibility goals. Do you want to have a haunt that is green? Is that something that matters?
I prefer black.
Well, that certainly helps. But if you do a really dark green, black actually is very, very obvious. I mean, that's a whole thing from the Assassin's Guild.
You are
black
absolutely
is
right.
very, very obvious. You're much better off with dark gray, dark green, dark blue. That's going to be much better than just straight up black.
Fair. Black looks like a hole.
It does. And most things are never pure black.
Indeed.
Social responsibility goals. What are your company policies? And what are your community activities? How are you turning this from something fun and entertaining to something that is building your community?
We are collecting food from the community and providing it to a food bank at no cost.
Yep. So that would be something, this is a partnership that we have been working with and working on. This is the success that we've had. We've been able to donate all of this. This matters to us because of, all of those things are where you would put in your community involvement and your social responsibility. Alrighty.
And if you want to work, like if you are planning to work with other nonprofits to help them raise money or
collect donations,
exactly, then this is the section to put it in.
Mm-hmm. And even if it's a case of you don't have a partnership yet, but you'd like
to, want to,
this is where you start those conversations and you say, I would like to be able to do X, Y, and Z for organizations that provide QRZ to our community because of these things. Alphabets are weird. Don't make it count.
I gave Leslie a look when she QRZ'd. Yes. And then this becomes a document that you can hand to those potential partners to say, this is what we're about. How well will you fit in
Mm-hmm.
this culture?
Yep. Yeah. And so this is where you have all of this planning, you have all of this written out, walking into a food bank and saying, I'd like to partner with you to do this. Can you please put up my flyers for my haunt, and I'm going to be collecting food to donate to your organization. You present them with a business plan. They're not necessarily going to look through and worry about how your operations are, they're going to look at it and say, you have a plan and you want to do this. Great. We would love to partner with you. Let's talk more. So it's having a physical document of a business plan is going to open doors for you with much less effort than just walking in and saying, so I have an idea and I want to do this and I want to help you guys. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Being able to hand somebody something makes it look all that much more professional, put together, and defined.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the next section?
The next section is development, milestones, and an exit plan. So long-term company goals, growth strategy. What are your milestones? At what point do you say, yep, I've made it to this point, I've made it to this point, I've made it to this point? This is, again, where you have another risk evaluation, and then you want to have an exit plan. This is a valuable tool for a couple of different reasons. One, what do you need to do to close down your business if you're done with it, or if it's not going well? How do you get yourself out without causing more issues than you might already be having? How do you break down your board of directors, your principal ownership? How does that break out in terms of, okay, we've had 10 successful years, the 3 of us are done. How do we break it out and nobody ends up with hurt feelings or feeling like they got screwed?
Yeah. How do you divvy up
How do you divvy up everything?
built?
Funds, and we now have property, we would have props, we have all of these things. An exit plan is not about assuming that your business is going to fail. An exit plan is deciding when you're done or if you are failing, how do we close this down with the least amount of stress, anxiety, and frustration for everybody?
That's the exit plan, but also the developmental milestones help you figure out when you're ready to make those next steps. For like us as home hunters, we want to be looking at the milestones of, well, we want to have, this many customers before we make the jump to pro. We want to see this much social engagement or something like that, using these milestones to help us decide when is the right time to make the leap.
Yeah. So again, this is kind of your long-term development plan. This is also where, hey, we've hit 5 out of 8 of our milestones. We need to reevaluate what we're doing and where we're going next. So this is, again, where this is a living document. This is something that you are going to want to come back to on a regular basis to see where you are. And it's also a really, really nice thing to be like, hey, we started this and wow, we've actually hit all these milestones. We've hit 5 out of 8 of these milestones. We weren't expecting that for 5 years. We weren't expecting that. So again, it's a nice feedback mechanism for what you are building and how you are doing and what your success rate is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the next one. And so we have two more. One major, but 2 more. The next one is, the extra boring one, which John is happily not here for because it involves math. So final one is your financials.
Blech.
Yeah.
That was me puking, by the way.
Yes. This is where you want to have, what's your income statement? What's your cash flow? What's your balance sheet? What's your break even? What do you need to be able to achieve in order to break even? What's your budget? What are your assumptions of what you're doing? Your pricing, your throughput, how many days you're open? Are you paying your actors? Are they volunteers? How are your funds being used? This is where this section is crucial, especially if you're looking at funding. any funding group, any investor, bank, loan officer that you are going to go to and say, I would like this so I can do this, is going to want this information. They're going to want to know that you are not just have a plan, but that you know how to manage and track where your money is going, what is happening to it, who's in charge. This is, if you're looking at funding, this is almost a more make or break than anything else.
Investors are going to want to know that you are a good bet and they are going to get a positive return on their investment. This is where you
Or that
show
they're just going to
them.
get their money back.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. But
Right?
this is where you
Hey.
can show why it would benefit them to invest in you.
Yeah. This is where, okay, we've been running this for 3 years. Even though we're a charity haunt, we're not making money on it. We're donating everything we have. Being able to walk in, hand somebody, these are our financials for the 3 years that we've been in operations, is going to do us more favors than almost anything else that we write up in a business plan.
Yep. Yep.
So again, this is something that is frequently overlooked, especially small businesses, startups, etc., but is of such value and importance. I cannot overstate it.
For someone like us who, we don't charge admission at this point and we are pouring money into it that we're really not getting back. How do you explain that in this financial plan?
So this is where knowing what we've spent and being able to show we have spent $5,000 over the last 3 years, $10,000 over the last 3 years. This is, in our case, this is our ownership investment. This is what we've put in to the business to build it. We have spent $3,000 on props and materials. These have a lifespan of X number of years. We've spent money on storage buildings. So we have a space, we have a shop to operate out of. This is where this money is going. This is how we've spent it. This is the value that it's brought us. And then being able to show we've already invested this much into this, and it's been generating this much engagement, donations. If we know that we have had 500 people come through our haunt on average every year, and we can say, hey, we want to charge $3 for, $5, whatever, 500 people at $5, we've just been taking donations. Well, now we want to charge money. Well, we know that 500 people at $5 a pop is going to be a $2,500 investment. We can show that the amount of money that we're spending annually to run the haunt, to operate the haunt, based on the investment that we've already put in, is less than that. So we can show we have a history of attendance that makes sense. We have a price point that works within the industry and the size that we are. And we can show that the amount that we're spending to operate every year is less than what we would be making. We can show positive net value.
We are a good bet.
We are a good bet. So even if it's a case of we're not a great, we're not making millions or even tens of thousands, we're not even making 5,000, we are making money. This is a cash flow positive venture because we have the history and we can show what we've invested into it. Being able to show owner investment also helps because it says, I'm invested in this.
Yep.
This is not something that I'm going to the bank and being like, hey, so I have this cool idea, give me $30,000 and totally it's going to work. I can say we've spent $15,000 building this over the last 5 years. We would like an investment. We would like a loan of $20,000 because this is how we're going to grow it.
Yep. And explaining how you're going to use that money how you're going to use that money and the benefit it's going to provide is so key.
It is. And this is kind of where it all ties together. You can show that you have a plan. You can show that you've looked at the market. You can show you've looked at the competition, what is normal, what is common. You can show that you have a plan for your marketing. You understand your operations. You understand what systems and tech you need. You know how your management and your operations are set up. You know how you're going to have community support and involvement. You know what your goals are. And then you can say, and this is what we've done. This is our plan. This is our budget. This is how the numbers work out. We can show a likelihood of positive cash flow for the next 5 years with these plans, allowing us to pay off this loan in this amount of time. It's giving information, it's being transparent, and it's showing that you have a plan, that you know what's going on, you know where things are, and you know what the next steps are.
You've thought it through, you've written it down, and you are ready to take that next step.
Yep. So again, even if you haven't started making money, if you can show where you've spent the money and what you already have on hand, that's still something we're sharing.
Yep.
All right. The last and final is your appendices. This is where you're going to put research materials. This is where you're going to put your management's resumes. You can say all day that, yeah, our controller, our treasurer has 20 years of experience with finance. They're not going to take that at face value. Stick the resume in the back into the appendices and say, look, here's the experience. Here's the information. It's your double check. It's there so that way when they look at it, you're not asking them to take you at face value. You're saying, no, really, this. I didn't have ChatGPT write this. I wrote it. Here's the backup.
This is the evidence. This is what proves everything that you're saying everywhere else.
Yep.
Here's the work that supports everything in my front. Yeah. So that's our business plan in a nutshell. I know that was dry.
Sorry.
But it was a good discussion, I think. I hope that anyone who is thinking about writing their own business plan, go check out the Small Business Administration's website. Again, that's sba.gov. They have a ton of resources there that can help you. Les, what was the book that you were reading out of? Because that had even more detail than SBA did.
So this is a book that used in MBA courses, and it is called The Successful Business Plan, Secrets and Strategies. It is by Rhonda Abrams.
Perfect. And there will be a link to that as well in the show notes. If I can find it online somewhere, surely I can.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
In 2 seconds, I could probably Google it.
Yeah. Check the show notes. You'll find it there.
We'll make sure of it.
We'll make sure of it one way or another. Or I'll just cut this whole part out. You'll never know that we're after it. Well, because that was so dry, I feel like we need to throw something fun and Halloweeny in here to wrap up before we finish tonight. And I've just got a bunch of like this or that type questions that I just want to run through with you real quick. And we'll start with movies. So,
all right, I just shared you the link.
You found it. Perfect.
Yep, on Amazon. And it's reasonably affordable.
How much?
Paperback version's $27.
Yeah, I'm totally buying that.
Yeah, I was definitely not expecting something under $30.
Cool. Love that.
There's another version that's $60, but again, that's the newest edition. Is this one?
Yeah.
So again, this is a book that's available on Amazon. It's used in MBA classes, and it has a lot of information, a lot of detail. It also, one of the other things that I really like about this is it includes a bunch of worksheets to help you. So again, this is not asking you to just put it together and hope for the best. It walks you through, it gives you formatting, it gives you information. It gives you a lot of detail and support. So very much something that I would say, if this is what you want to do, this is a good resource.
Love it. So SBA.gov, as well as this book that Leslie just mentioned,
Successful Business Plan, Secrets and Strategies, Rhonda Abrams, which will be in the show notes
the show notes. Love it. All right, let's throw a shenanigan in here, despite the fact that we don't have John, just to hopefully wake everybody up after listening to all of the dryness.
Apologize to having to listen to me talk about business shit for an hour.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I think
guys.
it was well worth the time at least. So
I know this isn't everybody's thing, and
but if you are thinking about going pro, it needs to be.
it needs to be. And it sounds a lot more daunting than it ultimately is.
Yep. It's just doing your homework
And writing it down.
and writing it down. You're
Don't write
already
it
doing the
down. You're
homework.
just screwing
Just
it. You're
write it
just screwing
down.
around.
Exactly. So, Les, I've got a bunch of this or that type questions that I'm just going to kind of throw out there lightning round style. Want to hear your answer? I'll do my answer. We may discuss briefly, but really lightning round style. You ready?
As soon as I stop the puppies from turning into coats. Okay, we're good. Carry on.
Let's start with Halloween movies. Hocus Pocus or Beetlejuice?
Ooh. Hocus Pocus.
Definitely Hocus Pocus.
I do like Beetlejuice, but Hocus Pocus has a very large special place in my heart.
Fair. Nightmare Before Christmas or Corpse Bride?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, I love Corpse Bride.
I do too. Nightmare Before Christmas has been the movie that has put me to sleep pretty much every night since Halloween of last year.
Yeah.
I listen to that to fall asleep every single night.
Love that.
It's very effective. Not because it's boring or anything like that. It's just, it's so soothing.
It's such a great soundtrack.
It's an amazing
It's
soundtrack.
an amazing
And it's
soundtrack.
like, I'm usually out before like the end of the first song. So for somebody with insomnia, that is perfection.
It's great. Yeah. Ghostbusters 1984 or Ghostbusters 2016?
Oh, come on. Those are two, both, for two completely different
Lame.
reasons.
You have to expand on that then because you're cheating.
Of course I'm cheating. I always cheat. The original, perfection. The 2016 with all of the ladies, perfection. They're completely different movies while being Ghostbusters, and I will never not love a movie that makes the ladies be ridiculously brilliant, funny, and smart, and has Chris Hemsworth that wears glasses
Dancing
without
on the
glasses,
rooftop.
dancing on the rooftop, and naming his dog My Cat. I cannot decide between the two of them because they are both perfection. Also, Ghostbusters 2, amazing.
Fair enough. Edward Scissorhands or the Addams Family?
The Addams Family.
Yeah,
That's
Addams
easy.
Family. Rocky Horror or Little Shop of Horrors?
Little Shop of Horrors. Though
Really?
I do love...
Oh, I'm totally Rocky Horror.
I love Little Shop of Horrors. The music for that is just fantastic. But again, at the same time, there is no beating Tim Curry as Frankenfurter.
100%.
Like, chef's kiss, no notes. Carry on.
Coraline or Casper?
Casper.
I
love Coraline, but again, it's like Hocus Pocus. Casper just holds such a special place in my heart, and I'm a sucker for Christina Ricci.
Frankenweenie or The Haunted Mansion?
Frankenweenie.
For me, it depends. If it's the most recent Haunted Mansion that came out in like 24,
that is true. That is true. Not the Eddie Murphy.
If it's the Eddie Murphy, Frankenweenie.
Yep.
Sixth Sense or Carrie?
Carrie.
I really like Sixth Sense though.
I mean, come on. You can't beat ruining prom with pig's blood.
That's fair. Scream or Halloween?
Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween. Although I love the Scream movies. Licorice or candy corn?
Licorice.
Yeah, definitely licorice. Twilight or Vampire Diaries?
Buffy.
Buffy is the right answer.
Buffy or True Blood. Although I'm still weirded out by the Southern vampires. That accent thing still throws the fuck out of me. But the correct answer to that question is Buffy.
Would you rather have vampire teeth or a witch's mole?
Vampire teeth.
Agreed.
Sharp and pointy.
Attend a bonfire or play some pranks?
Bonfire.
Yeah, always
although
fire.
Technically you can combine the two because
Do not
there's
combine the
so
two.
many pranks.
No pranking around the fire. Would you rather spend Halloween in a haunted house or a remote cabin in the woods?
I mean, aren't those interchangeable?
Haunted cabin in the woods.
I mean, again, remote cabin in the woods is pretty much synonymous with haunted house.
Fair.
So there's no difference between these two pictures.
Fair enough. Would you rather attend a masquerade, a Halloween party, or make DIY costumes at home with your friends?
Ooh, masquerade. which does not preclude that you made the masquerade costume at home with your friends.
And then
Case
went
in
to the
point, I win,
masquerade.
and then went to the masquerade ball. Case in point, I win.
Would you rather host a Halloween cocktail party or a Halloween bake-off?
Ooh, both. Why wouldn't you have cocktails at your bake-off? Why wouldn't you
Fair.
have baking at your
Totally
cocktail
fair.
party?
I would much rather cocktail party than bake-off, but I'm not a big baker.
Well, but you would benefit from the baking, so,
Accurate. You bake, I'll make the cocktails.
Perfect. Problem solved.
Would you rather attend a murder mystery party or go on a ghost bus tour?
Murder mystery party. Those are fun.
I've done both. In fact, one of my earliest memories with my wife, who was not my wife at the time, we weren't even dating at the time, was playing a murder mystery game with a bunch of friends. And John's now wife set us up as husband and wife in the game.
Of course she did.
And if I remember correctly, I think I was the murderer.
That tracks.
She still went out with me later. She still went out with me after that.
The fact that she went out with you at all is just testament to what an amazing woman she is. And you thank your lucky stars every single day for her.
All right, one more.
And I know you do.
Fair. One more quick set. Halloween candy. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups or Snickers?
Snickers if they're warm. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups if they're frozen.
I love them both, but I think I like Snickers a little bit more. Oh, Skittles or M&Ms?
Skittles.
I knew you were going to say that. M&Ms. Gummy bears or jelly beans?
Jelly. No. I could behead the gummy bears, but I really like all the flavors of the jelly beans. Ooh, I got it. We're going to behead the gummy bears and stick a jelly bean on top. Problem solved.
There you go. I much prefer gummy bears over jelly beans. Sour Patch Kids or Swedish Fish?
Swedish Fish.
No, Sour Patch Kids. Nerds or Starburst?
Starburst.
I think I like Nerds. I mean, I know I like Nerds. I think I like Nerds better than Starburst.
I have Nerds. These are actually
excellent
from Halloween. Hey, there's still some in here.
Excellent. Twizzlers or Hot Tamales?
Hot Tamales.
Twizzlers for me. I cannot stand cinnamon. That's not true. I don't like that kind of cinnamon, you know? Hershey's Kisses or Twix?
Twix.
Twix. Butterfinger or Kinder Bueno? Butterfinger.
Butterfinger.
Three Musketeers or Peanut M&Ms?
Peanut M&Ms.
Yeah, peanut M&Ms. Airheads or Jolly Ranchers?
Jolly Ranchers.
Jolly Ranchers. When I took the professional engineer exam, you know, it's like a 4-hour test or a 6-hour test, something like that. And they let you bring in basically whatever you want to help you, you know, concentrate. I brought in a giant bag of Jolly Ranchers and went through the whole fucking bag.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Yeah. So I think that's our episode for today. I hope you took away some good points to help you develop a business plan, start thinking about all of these different components that can help you honestly build a better haunt and I'm going to say coordinate your efforts in a more productive way.
Yep. And again, even if you're not looking to get sponsors or investors or to go pro or to grow, it is a good exercise to put your thoughts on paper and see where that takes you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is what I will be doing probably on days when it's raining and I can't be digging. So, you know, well, priorities right now.
So all of them?
All of them. Everything is a priority. Therefore, nothing is a priority.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to learn more about the Hunting You podcast, definitely go check out our website at huntingyou.com. That is just the letter U. And check us out on all of the socials, facebook.com/huntingyou, at Hunting University on Instagram, and at Hunting You on YouTube. That is where you will find pictures, video, and posts of everything that we are doing. If you want to be notified about upcoming Lunch and Learns, definitely check out the Chamber of Hunters on Facebook and Instagram, because that is where they are broadcasting all of the Lunch and Learns as they come up. So, yeah. What did we forget?
Probably all sorts of things, because that always is how it happens. But as you guys find things that we forget, go ahead and comment and let us know, and we will talk about it next time.
Exactly. Speaking of next time, we will see you then. From all of us here at Hunting You, stay spooky, my friends, and happy hunting.
Bye, everybody.
We are incredibly grateful to all the sponsors who make this show possible. especially our premium sponsors, the Chamber of Haunters and VFX. You can learn more about our premium sponsors by checking out their websites at chamberofhaunters.com and vfxcreates.com. Check out our website at huntingyou.com for more information on everything that we do. Hunting You can be reached via Facebook at facebook.com/hauntingyou with just the letter U, or on Instagram under the handle @HauntingUniversity, and YouTube under the handle @HuntingYou. Hunting You is a production of Sanguine Creek Entertainment. All audio clips and sound effects are used under a Creative Commons Attribution or Public Domain license from Purple Planet Music at purple-planet.com or the Sound Bible at soundbible.com. Please see the show notes for more information on all the clips used in this episode.